Peter Clausi, of course, from Silver Bullet Mines. I saw some congratulations notes going to you this week about the acquisition of the King Tut gold mine. What has happened with Silver Bullet Mines?
A highly opportunistic acquisition. When it first crossed my desk, I was firmly against it. We're busy enough. We're putting 2 mines into production. We're fine-tuning the mill. We're negotiating contracts for the sale of the concentrate. We're busy. We don't need another project. But then I started looking at the details, and I went from a hell no to a hell yes pretty quickly. It's just a very, very strong project, and there was no way we could not buy it.
My favorite quote I saw was one of our associate members said, "I hope King Tut is as good to you as the Lone Ranger has been to you with the Silver Bullet Mines." So let's talk about the sale of the concentrate and let's get an update. How is that going?
It's going fine. They're working at the Super Champ. Everything's getting safety. They're starting to haul material from the lower adit. Other people are talking about oxides and the higher grades and lower grades. Until we have assay results, we're not talking about any of that. But the plan is to run 50 tons a day until we have 25 tons of concentrate, and then we deliver that 25 tons of con.
Just to jump back to the King Tut mine for a second, can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you think you have in doing this acquisition?
I laugh when I tell this story. We have 2 employees as Silver Bullet who worked this mine in the 1980s. And the 2 of them touched the vein. They hauled rock out of that mine. They processed the rock. They got gold and they sold the gold. So we know there's gold there. The problem is there is zero documentation on production, on tonnage, on grades, on any of it. So unless you have your own mill and you can take a flyer on producing this, and unless you really like the people who are giving you the information, there's no one else who would buy this property. We're probably the only buyer on the planet for this property, and that is reflected in the very, very low acquisition price. No shares, no NSR, no GOR, and a very, very low cash consideration. That's it.
So how fast will you be producing?
On our Twitter feed, or whatever we're calling it these days, we have a video of material being run from the waste rock at the King Tut. If you look at that video, there's a very strong line of yellowish material on the right side. Now, it's easy to make the leap, hey, that has to be gold. Until we have assay results, we're not saying any of that. We've all been fooled once or twice in our lives with these kinds of things. So we're waiting on the various assay results, and then we'll happily tell people what's in that concentrate from the King Tut mine.
So how is the market responding, Peter?
Since we put out the news release, I've been on the phone and on my keyboard answering questions, telling people basically what I just told you in pretty much the same way. I went from a hard no to a hard yes after I looked at the data, or after I heard the stories of where our data was coming from. It's a great project. I've heard nothing bad from any shareholder, any investor, except, are you sure? Yep, we're sure. Okay. So it's been a really busy week. I was at this Canadian Securities Exchange's golf tournament this week, and I had at least a dozen people come up to talk to me about the King Tut acquisition. And again, are you sure? Yep, we're sure. Well, good for you then. We'll be keeping an eye on it. So it has been a very, very strong positive response to that announcement.
So what should shareholders be looking forward to in the next month or two, other than just seeing how you evolve the story?
Well, we have a couple of different fronts. The only one that matters to me is, did we get a check yet for the sale of the concentrate? I make our poor CEO crazy because in a company like this, you have minor achievements along the way. And I've told him, I don't care. We're not in the business of making holes. We're not in the business of building mills. We're in the business of selling silver and gold. And until we do that, we haven't succeeded yet. Makes poor John crazy. We're expecting that first check sometime in the near future. As you know, we've had a sale of our con for 25 tons. And that's what the field team is working on producing. concentrate from the Super Champ mine in Arizona, about, less than 10 miles from our mill in Globe, Arizona. So that's the first thing to look for. For me, that's the most important. Did we get a check? Did we get paid for that concentrate? Falling out of that then is, how is work going at the Super Champ? Then third, how is work going at King Tut? There's 400 tons of rock on surface. We want to get to the mine site, get that processed, get it through the mill, and see if we can get that sold, whether as con or gold doré. And it's hard to say which of those is going to happen first. Probably whichever is easier at the time. And I can't sit here in this chair and make that determination. That's up to the field team.
And for those of you interested in also sending a congratulations note to Peter or the Silver Bullet team, please go to the following website. Peter, thank you so much for the update and congratulations on the King Tut gold acquisition.
Thank you.